Good morning. Something that I'm sure some of us see more often than not in our mailbox during the year, even though unfortunately we're not seeing them too often now, is beautiful envelopes that might have a thicker cardstock, maybe some matte paper, some very beautiful cursive writing that has the address of he or she who sent it, or they who sent it. We open it up and we see a beautiful ribbon and perhaps glitter, but hopefully not glitter, envelope with "You are cordially invited." And more often than not in our church, this is for weddings, but there are similar invitations that are sent out for baptisms. And we write down how many of our party are attending and what we'll be having at the meal. And we send it back so that the family knows for the reception, and we begin preparation for our celebration. We mark it on our calendar and we say the baptism, the sacrament, whatever it might be that day, is being held on such and such a day, and we will be there. It's a beautiful expression, right? It's a beautiful invitation. It is a beautiful calling, and something that human beings love doing because we are very much communal creations of God, as God is Himself. And so when we want to have something that is a very special occasion, and we want to share it with others around us, those near us, those dear to us, we will often send a very formal invitation. And we see this not just with family baptisms and weddings, but also with things like birthday parties, although maybe not as fancy. There was a gentleman, God rest his soul, who used to do that every year when they celebrated a memorial for his late wife at the church. They would send out invitations for people and say, would you like to put your name here, or so forth. It is a very formal and very beautiful expression of love for the other person, saying, you mean a lot to us, and we'd like you to be with us. We'd like you to join us. We are often invited, perhaps, as the years go on, to various occasions of families. And invitation is truly an expression that the relationship that we have with the other person is truly that. It is a relationship. It is not an employer-employee relationship in which the employer simply tells the employee, we start work at such and such time, you will be paid such and such amount, and you are to report to your supervisor for your tasks. It is not that kind of a relationship. Nor is it a relationship of, a transaction with the government and citizens. You get your property taxes every year notice, and you send back a check, or you have to pay your mortgage, or have to pay the loan on your house, or loan on your car, whatever it might be. An invitation denotes that there is a free will, acceptance, or asking and acceptance, or declining, as the case may be, between two parties. Regretfully, we will not be able to attend. We have a choice. Or, yes, we will enthusiastically look forward to seeing you at this occasion. But it is an expression of a relationship. It is a relationship. It is a free relationship that one chooses or chooses not to participate in. And this is very important because we know as human beings that love cannot be something that is transactional. Love is expressed in this kind of a way. It is an invitation, and it is a choice. I choose to love someone. I choose to be in a relationship with someone. I chose to propose to my wife. I may not choose to be related to someone, but I choose to have them in my life, or to invite them to my home and go to their home, whatever it might be. Again, pandemic notwithstanding. This also, my brothers and sisters, is our relationship with God. St. Andrew, whom we honor today in his feast day, November 30th, in addition to being one of the 12 apostles and very significant, a former follower of John the Baptist and a follower of Christ, these are not insignificant things, by the way. He was on the ground floor of history, shall we say, the history of salvation. But nevertheless, there is a title that is added to his name in the Synaxarion of the Orthodox Church right after the Holy Apostle Andrew, the first called. And we read about this calling, or at least heard about this calling today in the gospel passage. What is a calling? A calling is a word that we might use to describe someone who's very, very talented or very good at something, good at some kind of a skill set or some kind of a job. And we say, oh, that's their calling. They are meant to do that. And indeed, this certainly might be the case with the apostles and definitely other saints in our church that we find, but not in this case. The calling, or the word in Greek, protoklitos, denotes that the person was first called, as in they were, Jesus himself called to them and invited him and his brother, Peter and James and John, and all of the apostles and all those who followed him. It was an invitation. It was not forced. It was not an employee-employer relationship. It was not a mandate from the government of Palestine or the Roman Empire. It was an invitation. It was an expression of love. And it was an offering. It was a choice. As the choice was given to the Virgin Mary when she was told by the angel Gabriel, the Archangel Gabriel, that she was chosen by God. She then answered by saying, "May it be done according to your will." In the same way that the prophet Samuel's mother, Hannah, was invited by God to give birth to a prophet, in the same way that so many other figures of the Scriptures, Old and New Testament, and even the saints, so many people in the life of the church are called by God. Are called by God, are invited by God, because it is a relationship. God asked Andrew, "Would you like to follow me?" And Andrew said yes. And indeed, not only did he say yes, but he also invited others as well. This, my brothers and sisters, is the archetype, the prototype, shall we say, whatever word you want to use for it, of our relationship with Christ as well. We run the risk sometimes as Orthodox Christians, perhaps, of feeling like it is our solemn duty to follow Christ, and indeed, there is something very honorable of our duty as Orthodox Christians to live a certain way and to follow God and so on. But we run the risk, if we focus too much on that, of forgetting that at the end of the day, the essence of our relationship with Christ is just this. It is an invitation that we answer. God does not force anyone. A priest once corrected me when I was younger when I said that. I forget what I was talking about, perhaps about how I felt duty-bound to do this or that or something. And he cut me off and he paused and he said, God does not force. He invites. He invites all of us. That is why in the history, whenever forced conversions happen, that is a distortion of our relationship with God. Nothing is forced. Even the sacraments are not forced. The sacraments are offered, and we are invited to partake of them. If we are forced to partake of a sacrament, it does not count. A little canon law there, in the Orthodox Church's history. It is an invitation because it is a relationship. Andrew accepted the invitation and did miracles in his life, literally and physically, and spiritually as well, founding churches left and right. I read he even went to Kiev, or the city that was Kiev before Kiev existed. I didn't even know that. We know that he was the founder of the church in Byzantium, the Constantinople, the first patriarch in a way of Constantinople. But again, it all started with that one invitation. God invites us, my brethren. He invites us. He does not force anyone. He invites. He says, come and see. The same reaction that he had to the sons of Zebedee when he was simply walking and he said, sure, follow me. That is how he asks us as well. May we too recognize this invitation in our life as one that is a free will invitation. And may we too mark our envelope. It is our choice, of course, to say, yes, I accept and I will see you there, or regretfully I decline. But just know that if we decline, God will ask again and again and again and again. And we can keep declining, that's our choice. But He will not stop inviting. So let us answer the invitation and say, yes, I will attend. And let us accept His love for us and the whole world. Amen.